Hello, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another reaction video. Today we're going to watch the Tudors episode number 6. It's actually been a while since I watched an episode of the Tudors, that I watched any kind of content for reaction purposes, because I've been on vacation. I've been to Washington DC for like 5 or 6 days, and after that I went to Gettysburg, where there was the Gettysburg Film Festival, and hang out with friends there, and visited the battlefield. Had a very good time there. Got some really cool stuff, including some of these bullets that were found on the battlefield. I also made some videos on Arlington National Cemetery. If you're into that kind of stuff, it's totally different, of course, than the reaction videos that I do. But this is also part of the channel. I like to go to places and make original historical content. And there's about a 7-episode series coming up about Arlington National Cemetery, and each episode has its own topic, so to speak. I'm visiting some Banner Brothers graves, Masters of the Air, the Pacific, but also some famous movie graves, actors that fought in different wars, Vietnam War or World War II, who are buried at Arlington National Cemetery. So that's coming to the channel in the future. If you're really into that kind of stuff, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell that you don't miss out on anything. If you want to catch that, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already. Like I said, it's been a while since I watched the Tudors, but I'm going to continue now. We're halfway through season number 2, and the previous episode was episode number 5, and it was a really important episode because we got to see the deaths of Bishop Fisher, of course, and he got beheaded, and also Thomas More got executed, which is a pretty important and pivotal plot point in I think the series, but also in the life and reign of the real Henry VIII. I think that really changed him as a man. He didn't really want to execute him, but he didn't have a choice, basically, because Thomas More didn't want to sign the Act of Confession. He didn't want to acknowledge Henry as the head of the church, because Thomas More was really devout Catholic. For him, there was only one leader of the church, and that was the Pope. And he wanted to say that he agreed with the annulment or the marriage to Anne, but declaring that Henry was the head of the church, that was a step too far for him. And Henry didn't really have a choice, because he said, there's going to be punishment for everybody who doesn't want to sign it or agree to it. And he can make an exception for Thomas More, because people will go like, hey, why this guy not getting punished? And I think it really hurt him. And I'm pretty eager to see what in this episode number 6 we're gonna see, because like I said, it was a very tough thing for him to do. I think on the show they portrayed it as such. Of course, I don't really have a clue what the real Henry VIII was thinking. Maybe he was ruthless and he didn't bother him one bit, but I think it did, because Thomas More was his mentor from a very young age, and very good friend as well. And I think they got it right on the show, that it hurt him, and I didn't really want to do it. But pretty eager to check out what is going to happen in this episode. You can also see in the last episode that the marriage between Anne and Henry is starting to crumble a little bit. First of all, she gave him a daughter that he wasn't very happy with. Then she had a miscarriage. I think it was a boy. I don't really remember, but he's already sleeping around with other women. Of course, that was standard practice back then, I think, for kings, especially when your wife was pregnant, you just go to another woman. You could see cracks starting to form in their relationship. He's starting to grow tired of her. And, they're definitely working towards her execution, which I predicted in previous episodes to be maybe the final episode of this season. I don't know. I hope so. I don't want them to drag it out too long, because we got 4 more wives to show of Henry. And, the show only has 4 seasons. So we got 2 more seasons left for 4 wives. There's not a whole lot. Some of them he was really married to for a very short time, like Anne of Cleves, for example. He wasn't married to her for a very long time, so they can move past that pretty quickly. But my prediction is that in the final episode of this season that we're going to see Anne's execution. And eager to see how they gonna portray that, if they're gonna stick to the facts, because there have been some things here and there where they diverted from the real life history, and maybe there's a video of that in the future I'm gonna make to highlight the real history compared to what they did on the show, maybe. So yeah, I think we're just gonna now start the episode. We're gonna check it out. I have no idea what's coming. It's kind of a clean slate from here on out. Thomas More is out of the way, and I think they're gonna focus more on Anne's relationship and everything that happens with her and her brother, and you know, the talks of incest and infidelity and everything. So yeah, can't wait to find it out. So let's just start and dive in. This is the Tudors, episode number 6 of season 2. Let's go.
Deus et dimissis peccatus vestris omnibus perducat vos Iesus Christus.
Peter O'Toole with the Latin, pretty cool. I said before in previous episodes, I really like that he's in this show. I had no idea when I started watching it that he was in it.
The martyrdom of Sir Thomas More and Cardinal Fisher. Their murder has shocked the whole of Christendom. It was an unpardonable sin against God.
Yeah, Catholic Church wasn't very happy with that. They're gonna make him a saint. I think just basically to try to piss Henry off.
That England may be redeemed from heresy and all its evil ways, and from the clutch.
Damn, Pope is really angry.
Even now, are leading her towards destruction and damnation.
CGI looked pretty good. That was of course a fake crowd, or maybe small crowd, and then they made it a bigger one through CGI. It was pretty good.
He cannot meet Sir Thomas Boleyn's demand for a dowry of £300. I assured him that I would make up the shortfall.
Your Majesty is most generous.
That's pretty kind of him.
There and elsewhere, they tell me they have uncovered many enormities.
What enormities?
Yeah, I would like to know that as well.
Supposedly the blood of a saint, used for healing the pilgrims who flock there hoping for a miracle. It turns out to be the blood of a duck, which the monks renew regularly.
Yeah. That's basically cheating.
Plays are an ideal way of setting forth before people's eyes the abomination and wickedness of the Bishop of Rome. They are also a means to demonstrate to people the obedience that, as subjects, they owe, by God's and man's laws, to your Majesty.
Yeah, if you need to stage plays to convince people to be show their allegiance to Henry, maybe things are not going as well as they would like to have hoped. I think a lot of people are still clinging on to their Catholic faith.
For the faith of the Holy Catholic Church.
Yeah. But I said in the beginning, you know, he's clearly struggling with the execution of Thomas More. He doesn't really like it at all.
I'm in agreement with your grace. Fortunately, we have a new weapon to promote our ideas.
And that is? A printing press. That's cool.
What in God's name is that?
It's called a printing press, my lord. Beautiful.
I think they're a little bit off with the timeline. I'm pretty sure that the printing press has been around since the late 1400s. So George Boleyn reacting to it like that, you know, like you never seen anything like that. I don't think that's historically correct.
Who still question the legitimacy of our daughter. It's true. You know it's true. But there is something we can do to change everything.
I don't think Henry's really interested in all that, you know. He's still struggling with Thomas More.
Will you come to my bed tonight?
Nope. you can see the contrast, in the beginning of the season or at the end of season 1. He couldn't wait to have sex with her and to sleep with her, to be with her. And now he's already done with her.
Your body to be divided in 4 parts.
Please forgive me. Harry.
He's really struggling, man. Nightmares and everything. I think he feels the guilt of the execution. Seeing ghosts now.
What is it?
Is that his new wife, George Boleyn?
I don't want to go through with it.
I don't think you have a choice.
Benedictio Dei omnipotentis. Patris.
What the hell is he doing? You don't want to piss off your father, man. Come on.
Majesty is Sir Henry Norris.
Sir Henry. Your Majesty, what can I do for you?
I think I read about that guy, Henry Norris.
And my choice has fallen upon one of Her Majesty's ladies. Who? Lady Margaret Sheldon. You mean Madge?
The Madge that Henry's been sleeping with. We saw in the previous episode. I don't know if he's still sleeping with her, but...
But I would now like to take things further, if Your Majesty can think of no impediment. No, none. You have my permission.
He almost seems happy to get rid of Madge. I think Henry knows that the Boleyns maneuvered her in his direction so they can control his mistresses. And if he can get rid of Madge, he's, free to choose a mistress for himself again, so...
His Majesty is very well, except for his hatred of the Emperor, which is like a disease.
Yeah. Until he makes a new treaty with him.
That his son Charles, Duke of Angoulême, should be betrothed to our beloved daughter, Elizabeth.
Doesn't seem very enthusiastic about it. I think he will know how the French king will react. But I said it before in previous episodes as well, these alliances that they have, with the French king and the emperor, they shift all the time, whatever suits them best. Sign a treaty with that guy, well, sign a treaty with the other guy. You can't really trust any of them.
Of course I love you. I married you, didn't I?
Already? He hardly knows her.
I can't wait for tonight.
Oh, she can. He doesn't seem to be looking forward to the wedding night. Yeah, I can't even imagine. It must be horrible to be married to somebody you've never met before, you don't love, to be basically forced into it. The pleasures of being a king. Which maybe that's in her imagination, probably. Well, here we go. George is ready. How about her? Seems to go along with it. Although, like the marriage, I don't think she has a choice.
No! Oh, no, please! No, please! Please!
So much for going along with it. Horrible, man. Horrible. Well, at least it was short. This guy, giving old man bad name. He's done, falls on the bed, falls asleep, and basically rapes his wife. That's what it comes down to. Let's see what this play is about. They're going to mock the Pope. I don't think Charles Brandon's going to be very happy with that.
Ask God to put him from his eternal light. I will take him from Christ. And after the Son...
Yeah. The ambassador is not happy with it. This is true Catholic as well.
I wonder who wrote it? Mr. Bale. He was once a priest of the old faith, but seeing how things went on, became a most passionate reformer.
And has a talent for writing plays. I don't see the appeal of the play, but maybe back then they did. I don't know.
Talk to the French ambassador. Francis is sending the Admiral of France to arrange the marriage.
Thank you.
The Admiral of France is to pay an official visit. I want you to receive and entertain him on my behalf.
Why him?
Don't question Henry in front of his friends.
I am, as ever, Her Majesty's humble and obedient servant.
And what is there of Christ?
Brandon wasn't happy with that.
That woman is a whore. She treats me worse than I treat my dogs.
But then your dogs bite back.
Yeah, he's pretty pissed. I can get it. Questioning Henry in front of him, you know, why him?
Alas, she is very unwell.
That the king may continue to reign over us.
She is sinking. Not only is her household severely reduced, but she has been separated from her daughter for the last 4 years.
Yeah, she's gonna pass away pretty soon. She's not gonna be around to see the end of Anne Boleyn. I think that would be, if she was to be around to see the fall of Anne Boleyn, that would be very satisfying for her. And there's Mary, still taking care of his sister, which she probably hates. I think it's very difficult for her, you know. Of course, she hates Anne Boleyn because she replaced her mother as queen. But on the other hand, you know, her sister Elizabeth, you know, it's a baby. You know, she's innocent. It's not her fault. So I think on one hand, she hates the little baby, but on the other hand, she thinks, well, you know, you're innocent. It's not your fault and everything. So. Tough position to be in.
Lady Mary, what in heaven's name are you doing with the Princess Elizabeth?
She was left alone. I took care of her.
Yeah, I think the people around Elizabeth know that Mary is a threat, of course. Maybe not now, you know, she's not gonna kill the baby now, suffocate or choke her, but maybe one day, you never know.
I still do not blame the king. He's been seduced by witchcraft. I have always believed it, and now I have proof.
You have proof?
Yes.
Proof of witchcraft? Okay.
An extra fingernail on her left hand, which she has always at great pains to conceal. As well, her body, it's covered in moles, which are sometimes called the devil's teeth, as you know.
Yeah, these superstitions, you know. She's covered in moles, so that's why she's demonic. Crazy.
He's having more affairs.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Of course I'm sure.
He will always keep having them.
I think he's got a harem somewhere. There's a place where he keeps his harem, where he keeps his women. I know it. Oh.
I think Anna's losing it a little bit. Becoming a little bit paranoia and everything.
The prophecy says a Queen of England will be burned.
Don't talk like this. Nothing's...
You won't be burned. He will cut off your head, but he won't burn you.
It's all right. Everything's going to be all right. Please don't cry. I love you. I look after you, I swear.
Okay, is this the moment they are going to use for the incest? Doesn't look like incest to me, you know. He's just comforting his sister. But you know they will spin it in such a way, of course.
His Excellency Philippe Chabot de Briand, Admiral of France.
Your Grace.
Admiral Chabot, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you and your party to my home and to England.
And my niece, Mademoiselle Germaine.
Mademoiselle, you are very pretty. Madame. Your Grace.
Yeah. Flirting with Brandon right in front of his wife. It's crazy.
I am told that Queen Anne has planned a banquet in your honor. And a tennis match. I believe you met Her Majesty once before in Calais? When she accompanied His Majesty before her coronation?
I may have, but I have no recollection of any such meeting.
Doesn't seem very interested in Anne or anything. Of course, Brandon is very happy with that.
Good morrow, John.
Majesty.
Oh, here she comes on the warpath.
Where are you going?
Out.
Where?
Go back inside.
Where are you going? I want to know.
It is none of your business.
Damn. In public. Things are heating up. Gonna try another assassination? This can't be real, right? It never happened. She dreaming this? Or maybe he? Yeah. It was in his imagination. He could have done it. He was very close to her if he wanted to. Oh man, here we go. She's already making her move.
Mademoiselle?
I wonder what's going to happen. He's going to be faithful to his wife? He said he loved her very much. Guess not.
You don't approve of the changes I'm making in this kingdom.
I think that's an understatement. He hates them.
I have no doubt whatsoever that your Majesty's reign will always be remembered.
Yeah, but in what manner? I think they have opposite views on that.
I had planned a banquet in his honor.
Who?
The French Admiral. He has been here for 2 weeks already, staying with the Duke of Suffolk, and he has not yet sent me a message of goodwill.
He doesn't want to see you. He doesn't give a damn.
Tell me, why should he do such a thing?
This meeting is like, I'm a musician. How should I know?
Someone, some bitch who probably hates me, told me that the king has deliberately invited a lot of beautiful women to court for the Admiral's visit. I mean, can you believe that?
And is really losing it.
May I present His Excellency, Philippe Chabot de Briand, the Admiral of France.
Majesty.
Well, he's finally there.
Allow me to introduce my wife, Queen Anne.
Madame.
That was cold.
Let us be seated.
He really doesn't like her. For some reason I'm getting the sense that this whole betrothal is not going to happen. I don't know. I don't know why. Doesn't seem like the King of France is very eager for his son to marry Anne Boleyn's daughter.
And strong, like a gladiator sweat.
Henry really doesn't like the guy as well.
Who is that gentleman?
My secretary, Monsieur Gontier.
I should like to introduce him to my wife.
I think he's going over there to meet the girl. But Charles Brandon was there before you.
I was, how shall I say? Imprisoned by affection. Madame, are you amusing yourself at my expense?
Man. It's a totally different episode than the previous one, but I really like it, you know, all the things that are happening.
Whilst he was finding him, he met that pretty lady and forgot the whole thing.
Yeah, and is digging in her grave.
What instructions do you have from your master with regard to the betrothal of my daughter Elizabeth to the Duke of Angoulême?
Not gonna happen.
The king cannot agree to betroth his beloved son to a bride whose legitimacy is not accepted by His Holiness Pope Paul.
Yeah. Painful.
He would consent to the betrothal of the Dauphin to Lady Mary, your legitimate daughter.
Is he going to war over France with this?
Not agree to the match, my master will marry his son to the Emperor's daughter, leaving your country isolated in Europe.
I think he hated the Emperor, right? But not enough to not marry off his son.
With His Majesty is now over.
Like I said earlier, you know, these guys change allegiances so fast. It's crazy.
Sorry. I have no excuses, Catherine. I thought those days were behind me.
No, you don't.
I swear to you it'll never happen again. I love you too much. I have no right to ask you to believe me.
You love her too much. If you did that, you wouldn't have done it. No, so more fireworks between these two.
Who was she?
Who was who?
That lady you were talking to when you were supposed to be finding Monsieur Gontier.
Everybody's like, come on, man. I'm not in the mood for this.
What are their names? Where do you keep them, Someone told me that your nobles like Brandon are assisting you in having your affairs.
That's enough.
He's really jealous.
You said it was the definition of love.
Then here's the truth. You must shut your eyes and endure, like your betters have done before you.
Damn.
No, I love you 1,000 times more than Catherine ever did.
And don't you know that I can drag you down as quickly as I raised you? 'Tis lucky you have your bed already, madam, because if you did not, I would not give it to you again.
Holy shit.
And he and the Emperor all agree she is a bastard, and you are not my wife.
Yeah, and the end is near for you.
You're a happily married man, Charles. I envy you.
But he's cheating.
I regret now what happened to Maul. In some ways, I wish it never happened.
Yeah, man, it's kind of inevitable, the path you were on.
Whenever I was inclined to save him, a certain person would privately urge me on to his destruction. Who?
And, of course...
You know who she is, Charles.
This episode is really the beginning of the end for Anne. I love how they written that. I don't know if it was really true or not, what happened here, but I like how they did it. So, that was episode number 6 of season 2 of the Tudors. And I gotta say, like I said in the reaction, you know, it was a really good episode. Totally different episode, of course, than the previous one. It was a really, intense episode with the execution of Thomas More and Bishop Fisher and everything. You know, this episode is totally different, but I love the fireworks between Henry, Anne, and all the other people involved. The writing, top notch in this episode. Also, the acting is very good. I think Natalie Dormer, who plays Anne Boleyn, really nailed it in this episode. You know, previous episodes, she was always the seductive woman trying to get into Henry's favor and everything. And this episode, she was totally paranoid and jealous, and you know, really questioning Henry and all the girls that he's sleeping with. And she thought he had a harem somewhere where he stashed all his girls and everything, and she even confronted him about it. And, you know, she's digging her own grave. And, you know, like I said in the reaction, I don't know if it happened like this. There are some reports out there, if you read books about Anne Boleyn and about Henry VIII, that he didn't really like her tone of voice and her big mouth and her opinions. You know, she told off a lot of people, and she had certain views that he didn't agree with, and how she conducted herself. And I think, you know, this is a reflection of that. You know, the way she's behaving now, it's beginning of the end for her. He's basically blaming her at the end of the episode for Thomas More's execution. So, which he's struggling with. We saw it in the beginning of the episode. He has nightmares over it. He's thinking about Thomas More a lot. You know, and Thomas More was his greatest friend he ever had. It was his confidant, it was his mentor. And, you know, I think he really feels this way now that he's been bewitched by Anne, and that, you know, he was under a spell of some sort. Maybe he's going to even say that in future episodes. And, you know, this is the beginning of the end. And I think in the coming episodes number 7, 8, 9, he's going to look for a way out, and, you know, he maybe even give instructions to find stuff on her, like her sleeping around. There's, of course, the rumors that have always been there with her and Thomas Wyatt sleeping around. So he's probably going to pursue that. But really fascinating episode, really good stuff. Like I said, the writing was top notch, the acting was really good. I like the fireworks between Jonathan Rhys Meyers and Natalie Dormer. They really have really good chemistry when they play that they're in love and everything, and that there's a sexual tension between them. But even in this episode, you know, the fireworks between them is really amazing stuff. And, you know, it was an episode with a whole lot of stuff happened, but, you know, it laid the groundwork, I think, for the rest of the season, that when we're going to see Anne Boleyn's downfall. And I think it was very good, very well written. And, you know, we got, of course, Henry betrothed his daughter to the son of the King of France. But, you know, like I said it in season 1, and I said it in this season numerous times as well. These guys change allegiances, you know, as much as they change their socks, but basically, you know, whatever fits their needs at that time, they're going to side with. You know, the King of France always saying that he hates the Emperor, but now he's talking about wedding off his son to I think the daughter of the Emperor. You know, you don't do that if you hate the guy. You know, it's just what seems most convenient for him at the time, and it just changes back and forth. And I think Henry should know by now. You know, it's not the first time that he signed a treaty with the King of France, and then after that, the King of France signs a treaty with the Emperor. It's not the first time, so, you know, maybe a bit naive from him. You know, also Henry's actions with the separation from the Catholic Church. You know, France was very much Catholic back in those days. So, you know, all that stuff that Henry did, I think it didn't sit well with the King of France as well, and it drove a wedge between them and steered the King of France more towards the Emperor and to the Pope. So yeah, basically Henry is alone now. And I think the Admiral guy said it best, you know, you become isolated in Europe, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You know, you have England with the Reformation, and then you have all the others plotting against him. You know, there's of course Reformation going on in the whole of Europe. We don't see that in this show because it's focused on Henry VIII and his court and everything. But you know, I have to dig into the real history about that to see how widespread the Reformation was back then. You have, of course, that Martin Luther was the guy who really was separating himself from the church. I think he lived in Germany as well in those days. So yeah, really interesting time. You know, the political scheming, all the allegiances and everything is really cool, and I think they show it off pretty good in this series as well. And yeah, can't wait to check out the rest of the season, man. This is some fireworks. This is some good stuff, and like I said, this is laying the groundwork for the rest of the season. And yeah, we're gonna definitely see my prediction come through. Probably at the latest episode, we're gonna see the execution of Anne. Maybe in episode 9, I don't know, but they're definitely steering towards that, and can't wait to check it out. So yeah, not much more to say. You know, like I said, not a whole lot of stuff more happened. We got the betrothal that didn't happen. We got Charles Brandon sleeping around again. He seemed really sorry that he did it, but you know, he did. You know, he said he lost his wife, it's never gonna happen again, but yeah, it did happen. So he made a mistake, and let's hope she forgives him. And of course, George Boleyn got married. To him, it was all kind of a joke. He was even joking around during the ceremony, and then afterwards, he went over to see his wife to have sex with her during the wedding night, and she was like, "I'm not gonna do it," and he basically raped her. You know, I think back in those days, as a woman, you didn't have much of a choice. You know, you're forced to marry this guy, so you know, you not having sex with him I don't think that's an option. You know, much as it's painful to say, of course, it's not like how we operate nowadays. Luckily, most of the time, it still happens around the world, fortunately. But yeah, it's something that was inevitable, and I think in her position, it was better for her just, you know, to give into it. And like I said, in the reaction, it was pretty short. It didn't last for very long, so that's lucky for her. And yeah, you know, he's going to be executed as well, probably in this season as well. Maybe one episode before we see. And I don't think they're going to put that in one episode. So maybe the season before Anne's execution, we're going to see George Boleyn's execution. So she's going to get rid of him, and don't know what's going to happen to her. But I have to look it up what happened to his wife afterwards. And you know, it doesn't seem like I read some stuff about the real George Boleyn. He was a very likable guy. He was very liked by everybody at court. So how he's behaving in this series now, it doesn't seem to, you know, come across as the kind of guy he was in real life. Of course, we have books and reports on him that were written maybe in his favor because, you know, they were written by people who knew him in a good way. We don't know how he was behind closed doors, of course, but all the stuff that I read about him was that he's a very likable guy and a very beloved man at court. So from what I've read and what the impression that I had of him, it doesn't seem like the real guy, but you never know behind closed doors how somebody is. So yeah, that's basically what we got in this episode. Can't wait to check out episode number 7. Please drop your comments, what you thought about this episode. I really like to discuss everything with everybody that's watching. You know, fortunately, this whole Tudors series has not been the most popular series here on my YouTube channel, but there are some hardcore Tudor fans that check out my reactions. Thank you for that. Hope you keep doing that, and I hope more people will discover this show. And I know there are a lot of fans of this show out there, and there hasn't been a whole lot of people reacting to them on YouTube. So I hope all those fans find my channel. If you know any fans of the Tudors, and if you watch my reactions, you know, spread it. Tell everybody to go watch it, and most importantly, to have a discussion with me in the comments, because I really like to do that, to see how everybody feels about this show and about this particular episode that we are watching now. And yeah, so that would be really cool. So if you haven't done so already, if you are new to the channel, you like what you see, maybe you consider subscribing. That's always helpful to the channel as well. Got some good stuff lined up as well for this channel, so I hope you don't be disappointed. We're gonna do some different stuff as well after the Tudors, and we're not gonna continue right away with season number 3. But you know, that's a longer bits away. We still have some episodes to do before the Tudors ends. So yeah, that's all for now. Hope you liked it. For now, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye bye.